What's up? What's up? Polo Sports Talking ENT here again with another one. Make sure you hit that like, sub, comment, notifications, all that. You know the deal. You know the drill. Listen, Kawhi, man, he shouldn't go nowhere. Listen, I know he opted out, and is considering possibly uh, leaving and everything. But man, listen, man, I I feel like this. Okay, I like Kawhi Leonard, man. And he's not just a great player, a great two-way player. He's a great player in general. Okay, I think the only two things that I've ever had to criticize Claw about is uh well, three things is his health, of course, but there's not much that we could do about that, especially when you consider four surgeries in 5 years. Then on top of that, his shot he could put just a little bit more arc on his shot, and then I think other than that, it would just be just him just being just a tad a little bit more vocal. Other than that, when Kawhi is healthy and 100% healthy, he's top three in the NBA in no particular order. And I don't think that he should go now. If he does go, it's gonna make him look like, okay, well, you're giving up. Listen, you need to just go ahead and run it back with the Clippers, because I'm not gonna sit here and just say it was your fault or you should take the blame for the Clippers losing or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, they didn't have one of their main players, and that was a big loss for them. They didn't have you. They didn't have Serge Ibaka, and they actually overachieved without you. Okay, that's what you have. That's what we have to look at. Those guys, they went out there and they played their hearts out. I take my hats off to the Clippers being able to make it that far, being able to make it all the way to a Western Conference final. That was huge. And the fact that they were able to do it without you being there for the rest of the stretch, it speaks volume. Now, I know some people are gonna be like, okay, well, they probably could have won, without Kawhi, but they probably could have won with Kawhi. That's what we have to look at. But you don't need to go anywhere. Why are you leaving? Why would you leave? And as a matter of fact, you might go somewhere, it might be just as unsuccessful as you were with the Clippers. It makes no sense for you to even considering leaving. First off, you need to really you need to see how you're gonna be when you get back. That's the thing, and if you're even gonna play that long, because you about to be out 9 months. Then on top of that, you gotta rehab. Then on top of that, you gotta get back in mid season form, much less just basketball shape alone. Listen, I like Kawhi, you know what I'm saying, but I criticize him too. Don't get it twisted now. But he don't need to go anywhere. He really doesn't need to go anywhere. He'd be a fool if he does. He got to know it, go learn new system, new personnel, new coaching, new staff, new this, new that. And I know everybody's like, okay, well, he was able to just automatically hit the ground running when he was with the Raptors and everything, but we have to realize that they almost, because of the situation that had taken place with the injuries with Golden State, they could have lost that series, but nevertheless they won. There's no excuses. Next man up mentality. That's the way that I think. But if I'm Kawhi, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying there. I'm staying there. I'm running it back. I'm getting healthy. First and foremost, you need to think about being healthy. You thinking about free agency. You're to some teams you might be damaged goods. As great as a player you are, they're like, okay, well, we can't depend on this guy because it's like, oh man, another injury. Oh man, your knees. Oh man, this. Oh man, that. No, we don't want any oh man. We want to say, ah man, amen. This man is playing. That's what people want to say. I don't want to say. I don't want to say, oh man. I want to say, ah man. you know, Kawhi Leonard, man, does he have a lot to offer a franchise? Yes, but can he take away from a lot of from a franchise? Yes, he can. He absolutely can. And see, Giannis made you look really. I don't know, man. I'm gonna just say he made you look bad because Giannis hyperextended his knee and still came out there. Now I know Giannis hadn't had the type of injuries or doesn't have degenerative knees like you do, but at the same token, he still hyperextended his knee. Nevertheless, you know, a lot of people have to understand that even though even though a player sits out and rest and heal and recuperates and everything like that, he's still missing time on the court, and that's time that he could be using to play. I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? And I've told people this before. Kawhi does not have that much long to play. His clock is ticking, and it's ticking faster than ever, especially when you consider his body. If Kawhi was 100%, we wouldn't even be having this discussion because I'd be like, okay, do it, do what you can. Me personally, I wouldn't want him to go. I would want him to run it back, but that's the way he feels. If he feels that way, then go ahead and go. But you signed a contract, and then also you got, Paul George signed a contract. Why? Why would you sit up there and do that? But it goes back to what some people were saying. They were saying that when Kawhi Leonard last year, if he, in the summer, they said if he didn't win, guess what? There's a big possibility that he might leave because of his track record. If I like, don't go nowhere. Like, why are you even staying? You're not. Your value is gonna diminish because of your injury, not because of your skill, not because of your skill set. Your skill set is A1 on both ends of the floor. Some people feel like he's not the defender that he once was. No, that's not true. He's still a good defender, but we also have to take into consideration, the surgeries and the amount of wear and tear and the constant deterioration of his knees too. But nevertheless, he's still out there. He's still fighting, and he still did a great job. And actually, if you really want to be honest, Paul George, him being out there with Paul George, it takes a lot of pressure off of Paul George. A lot of people will say that it's the complete opposite, but I beg to differ. It takes a lot of pressure off of Paul George. It, some people are going to say that Paul George actually outplayed Kawhi in a lot of those games. Which That's up for debate too. But they all needed each other. They all needed each other, but it's not taking anything away from what the Clippers did, because they did a phenomenal job going to the WCL. I was excited to see them even make it. But the thing about it is that you're gonna sit there, you're gonna leave. You already have a core in which y'all could run it back with, and let's see if you're 100% healthy. Listen, if you got to load manage, you got to load manage. Oh well, it's it's not anything new, and you won't be the last person to load manage. Definitely not. So if I'm Kawhi, I'm staying. I'm staying in LA. And you keep leaving, you keep going to all these places and everything like that. Pretty soon, you're gonna be. I hate to say it, you're gonna be a journeyman, and not from a standpoint of a journeyman that's just riding the bench, but you're gonna be somebody that's just hopping, 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 hopping on different teams when things don't go your way. And there was nothing that you could do to control that. Now, some people are gonna wonder, okay, well, why didn't you get out there and try to fight it, and why didn't you get out there and try to play through the pain like Giannis did and everything like that? That's how come I said Giannis is making him look bad, because, well, Giannis, he he hyperextended his knee, and guess what? He still played and stuff like that. But we can't get into comparing two individuals that have two different bodies, that have two different bone structures, that have a different level of pain tolerance. You can't get into that type of comparison and contrast. I'm a firm believer in that. If it's gonna save your career and it's gonna better your career, yeah, that's fine. But some people have the mentality, hey, if you could walk on it, whether you're in pain, whether you're injured or not, just keep on going. Me, I kind of defer to that in a few ways. If it's the type of injuries, uh, like a degenerative knees, in which it's gonna rupture over time, and no matter what, the end is near regardless, then you want to try to preserve yourself as much as you can. That's why I never really criticized Kawhi Leonard for the low management thing, and that's what that's what a lot of the debates are over. If Kawhi can be a uh, a Hall of Famer, because they take that degenerative knee situation into consideration, and him low managing and stuff. But Kawhi needs to stay. Point blank. Period. He needs to stay. If and I'll say this. I've said this before. Kawhi, if he's really feeling like this, just go ahead and retire. You'll be a Hall of Famer. You'll be a Hall of Famer. You got two chips, right? You got two chips. You got defensive player of the year under your belt. You got two finals MVPs under your belt. And you did it with two different franchises. What's up with you, DJ? I see you in the building. Go subscribe to my boy DJ 23 page. You have it all under your resume. So now, guess what? You don't need to. You don't really have anything left to prove. You probably have stuff left to prove to other people to feel like, okay, yeah, I could do it at the highest level and all this other stuff. But man, your knee condition is something that you honestly don't have any control over. Now you got to think about long term. You got to think about running with your grandkids. You got to think about getting up out of the bed, yet alone functioning and being able to walk like normal people walk. So I'm like this. It's either, man, you stay there or retire. Plain and simple. I'm not gonna knock Kawhi because Kawhi, I like Kawhi. I like his game. I like what he brings to the table. I love the fact that he, and I hate when people just always just like two way, two way, two way. No, I like him as a basketball player. Period. Two way or not. For him to come in the way that he did, just being known about known for a defender, and then on top of that, him changing his game and evolving into an offensive threat. That's amazing what he did. But we can't get caught up in, oh yeah, he needs to prove this or he needs to do more, or he needs to do this or he needs to do that. Man, there's a lot of players that had to cut their time short and still became Hall of Famers. But the the anatomy and physiology of your body is very unforgiving, especially when you consider and when you talk about Mother Nature. She could be very unforgiving sometimes. That's just like with Kobe. His body failed him. His body failed him, an Achilles injury. That's the only thing that kind of set him back and prevented him from playing like he wanted to play. Yeah, he still played and everything, but he just wasn't the same. His body failed him. His body failed him, and sometimes, I mean, you just don't have no control over it. Your mind, in your mind, you could do everything, man, but your body, man, is pretty much the tell all. So we got to see what happens, man. I'm hoping he stays, and if he retire, I wouldn't be mad at him either. But y'all, let me know what you think. Like this video, share it, comment. Also subscribe if you're not a member of the page. Until then, it's Polo Sports Talking ENT. I get at y'all.